Right now, there were even more women continually evasive. Mr. Weiner now admitting that there could have exchanged email X-rated chats here with up to 10 women. And who knows, the number might have even gone up since we went on the air. The clown car campaign continues despite calls for him to drop out of the race. And next, another juror in the Zimmerman trial is stepping out of the shadows. And what she says has many people upset and it has the Trayvon Martin family close to tears. She says Zimmerman got away with murder but felt her hands were tied. We'll have a conversation tonight about the justice system. And later, what should we do with sex offenders after their prison sentence has expired? Well, somebody, including the former governor of New York, says they ought to be put in psychiatric hospitals. Or is that by law just double jeopardy? Convicted sex offenders are suing the former governor, saying Mr. Pataki not only has answers to give, but also a lot of money to shell out. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. We'll talk about all those things. We'll also talk about baseball. We'll talk about Grand Central, I should say Penn Station as well, and why the Knicks and Rangers aren't too crazy at the moment about the city council. All that coming up in a busy Friday evening this July 26th. Now, we begin where else this week, but with the Weiner scandal as it continues to top headlines. And we ask you at home to sound off as well. What part of this scandal angers, upsets you? Fill in your own word here, the most. And it's interesting who you talk to. It has a whole different host of answers. Some people feeling they're duped. Some people feeling here that in many ways that he was aided and abetted by different people close to him. Some people saying that this story here shouldn't be getting the attention because this, after all, was a private affair. And other people saying this is everything that is wrong with politics. We'll get into all those questions and answers and some of your comments scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Now, just when you thought it was safe to get in the water. No, just when you thought you'd heard everything with this story, there is more. Now, if you were keeping a tally of all the women that the former congressman has been sexting, you can add a few more to the list. Anthony Weiner now says he traded. Now, he said this is, forget about who else is alleging it. He acknowledges that he traded lewd messages with a total of 6 to 10 women, give or take a few. And there could be 3 of them after he even resigned from Congress. And that, for many, the key here, not just the total, but the timeline. 3 of them after his tearful apology and his promise to seek help. Now, our senior political correspondent Andrew Whitman has more, and unfortunately this week there's always more day after day.
Are we sure it was Anthony Weiner or was it Carlos Danger? That's right, Carlos Danger is at it again, but Anthony Weiner says he is not dropping out of the mayor's race, despite an increasing chorus of people saying it's time to call it quits. The latest to add his name to that list, his old colleague, Congressman Jerrold Nadler. Quote, "I think he should pull out of the race," Nadler said. "I think he needs serious psychiatric help." In the meantime, Weiner continues his quest for City Hall.
I wonder all the time.
How bad are things for Anthony Weiner? He can't even say definitively just how many women he's sent sexually explicit messages and photos.
It's not dozens and dozens. It is 6 to 10, I suppose, but I can't tell you absolutely what someone else is going to consider inappropriate or not.
And how many women did he have sexually charged online conversations with after he left Congress?
I don't believe I had any more than 3.
Weiner's wife, Huma Abedin, a longtime confidant of Hillary Clinton, offered an emotional defense of her husband Tuesday, but she hasn't been seen with him since.
I wonder all the time what I did to deserve such an amazing woman.
When Weiner posed with his wife and baby last year, he told People magazine, quote, "Every day since this has happened, I've tried to become a better person, a husband that Huma deserves." But days later, it seems he was at it again. After his first scandal broke, we saw how adamant and combative Weiner can be when lying.
Is it inappropriate for a member of Congress to be following young women on their Twitter accounts from not even from their district? You know, you've several young women in your account. 40,000 people follow you. You only follow a couple.
It's really outrageous. The implication is outrageous. Now, do you really think that's a fair question? This is a Twitter hoax, a prank that was done.
Or not so much. In the real world, the mother of Sydney Leathers, one of the sexting buddies of Anthony Weiner, said of Weiner's candidacy, quote, "I have nothing to say except God help New York if he gets to be mayor." In the meantime, the media continues to have more than a little bit of fun with Weiner's foibles. You want to check out the cover of next week's New Yorker. That is the Empire State Building, and that is Anthony Weiner and that's a camera in his hand. Rich?
And we could go on, and we're going to bring in some of the numbers here where he stands right now. A little bit surprised, at least for me, with some of them. Let's bring in our panel on this. We got Evan Thies, he's founder of Brooklyn Strategies. We got Dominic Carter, of course, political journalist, author. Mark Furnish, professor of Brooklyn law and an attorney who's argued before the highest court in the land. Bill O'Reilly, as I like to say, the good one, Republican consultant and executive vice president at NLO Strategies, and a columnist at Newsday. Yes, you're in the media too now. And of course, Andrew, who you've already met. Every time we talk about the story, it's one of those I find usually with days after a scandal, it kind of at least lessens at least the shock value and the ick factor. This one just seems to get grosser and grosser by the day. And there's an anger that I've heard from a lot of people that I gave this guy a second shot. My God. And they're even more angry than when he did it the first time, if you could. I'm just asking you guys, because you've covered politics, been involved, been in the back rooms of it. What's been the biggest ick factor for you in following this story? Because you've seen scandals, you've had to manage scandals here, but this one is of a whole different, I guess, kind of category than we've seen before.
It's more his personal behavior after he did these terrible things than it is the terrible things that he did in the first place. He was out there, as you said, asking for forgiveness and a second chance, immediately squandered that. And you can feel the mood in New York turning from, look, is what he did really that bad? Bill Clinton cheated on his wife. That's even worse, and we gave him a second chance, to now people being angry at him for making New York itself look bad. This is a guy that was leading in the polls. Yep. A lot of people were supporting him openly, hugging him on the street, high-fiving him. They feel betrayed, and that mood has soured to the point now where he shouldn't not just be running for office, he should seriously consider never going outside again.
Dom?
It's over. I tried to give Mr. Weiner the benefit of the doubt. I tried to say with a rosy picture that his campaign was on life support. It's over. Finito, done. Political career is history. The only question as of right now, Richard, how much damage to his wife? And might this even sink by mere connection the possibility of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign? That's how bad this is.
Well, even if we go that far, Dom, he's still got, what, $4.5 million in the kitty right now? We'll bring up the poll numbers if you got him in there in a second, guys. He's still second in the polls, and I think dropping fast here. But that was a snapshot after this came out. We agreed that at this point, he might as well stick it out and get it out of the way. Do you think he will, first of all? Is he going to spend that money? What would be your guess?